Welcome back to Drowsy Tales Daily. Tonight I have 6 compelling stories from Reddit that will keep you engaged as you drift off to sleep. From vacation accommodations to cooking expectations, family inheritance drama, and travel conflicts, these real-life situations will have you questioning what you would do in these scenarios. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and let's dive into tonight's collection. Our first story involves vacation planning and the importance of personal comfort and privacy. I'm going on a big family vacation later in the summer. My immediate and extended family have booked a vacation for later in the summer. My aunt who found this place knew the owner, and they got a great deal. My aunt initially said there are 6 bedrooms, 1 room for her and her husband, 1 room for my parents, 1 room for my cousin and her husband, 1 room for my other cousin and his wife, and 1 room for their kids who are both under 10. The last bedroom, you may wonder, is where my aunt made an innocent mistake in miscounting. There are only 5 bedrooms. They told me that my boyfriend and I will have to sleep on a pull-out couch. I told my parents I would rather not sleep on a couch, even if it does pull out. I also don't want to make my boyfriend sleep on the couch with me either for his own privacy. It's in the living room, which is in the middle of everything. I would rather not be woken to people starting their day, and I would rather not have to change in the bathroom each and every time, or even leave all my stuff in the living room as well. I don't want to change in my parents' room either, because I know I would probably rush so that they can have their own privacy. I don't want to put my luggage in anyone else's room and fill their room with my clutter. Same goes for my boyfriend. I don't want to make him do all that either. My family has never had this big of a vacation all together in such a long time. I would love to be involved and whatnot, but I said I would rather not go if I can't have a room to myself, or I'll book my own place nearby, and I will pay for my part for the main house everyone is in regardless. My mom refused both options, as I will ruin the trip if I don't stay under the same roof. If I get my own place to stay, it would solely be to sleep. I plan to be with my family at all other times and events. I don't care about the price of only getting an accommodation just to sleep. I want my privacy. Our second story deals with cooking expectations and household responsibilities. I'm the only one who cooks in our house. It's just 4 of us, my husband, me and my daughter and little brother. My husband is 27 and I'm 25. My husband barely knows how to make eggs, even though I've tried to talk to him constantly about learning how to cook. My daughter and brother are still in elementary school, so they only help me cook. The responsibility falls on me, and it's honestly exhausting. So I just set up a system in my head. It's easy. For breakfast, it's just something with eggs or cereal. Lunch is some sort of sandwich, burger, or leftovers. Dinner is the meal I usually plan, but I have like 10 dishes I repeat. Sometimes I'll go off, especially Sunday, but generally I stay because it's easier for me mentally. Well, one day I made just pasta Alfredo with chicken, and as we were eating, my husband mentions that it would be nice if I made fancier dishes. I asked him what he meant, and he explained he wants me to change things up, add some more meat dishes and variety. Next time we went out shopping, and I was putting ingredients I don't usually buy into the cart. As the ingredients started piling up, my husband was getting all puffy and upset. We got to the meat aisle, and I started picking out beef, and that's when my husband lost it and started taking things out of the cart, saying that we can't afford my fancy living. I blinked at him and tried to explain that he was the one who asked for variety in different dishes, so I'm buying different ingredients. He rolled his eyes and told me that I'm being dramatic. I just let him do his thing, taking out most of the ingredients out. The next week, I made the same dishes because that's all I had ingredients for. A week passed, and my husband was all pouting that I made fried rice again and that he's sick of chicken. When I pointed out that he took out all the beef out of our cart, He blew up on me again and said I'm being difficult because he doesn't know how to cook. Our third story tonight involves family dynamics and a small daily pleasure that's causing conflict. Most nights after dinner, I eat a small ice cream cone. It's literally the little Joy Mini cups with a teeny scoop of ice cream. Maybe a big scoop if I'm having a rough day, but that's kind of rare. I don't drink alcohol or smoke or do anything fun, so this is my one fun thing I do for myself. My brother and his wife and daughter are staying with me for a few weeks. They'll be gone by June 15th. I'm happy to have them here. Usually we'll eat dinner together and go our separate ways for the evening. They watch a lot of TV, so they're usually all in the living room watching. I've been eating my Lil cone, but my sister-in-law approached me and asked me if I could stop. She said that my niece is starting to ask why she doesn't get to have ice cream, and that obviously she was lied to by my sister-in-law when she told her ice cream is a sometimes food. I said that I wasn't going to stop, but I could wait until she was in bed. I figured that was a good compromise, and I do get that she's trying to raise her little girl to have a healthy relationship with food. But waiting until she was in bed didn't work because she came into the kitchen multiple times to ask me for some. My sister-in-law was definitely a little incredulous over it and kept saying, "Really? Do you seriously need to eat ice cream every single day? Or stuff like it?" I said no, but she also doesn't need to drink a glass of wine every day either. She didn't like this inside a bunch and has been visibly annoyed with me since then. My brother asked me if I could stop just to avoid the drama, but I said I deserve my little treats. Our fourth story deals with adoption, inheritance, and family fairness. I just found out that my birth mother, who I have never met, left me her whole estate, which is $180,000. I was adopted at birth by a wonderful family with 2 other adopted kids. My siblings are now saying that it isn't fair I got everything when they also deserve it being adopted as well. They want to split it 3 ways. My parents are staying neutral, which I can tell is uncomfortable. The thing is, this was my birth mother. She chose to find me and leave me this money. My siblings have their own birth families they could easily have a connection to someday. For me, this feels like my one connection to where I came from. Now, family dinners are awkward because my siblings barely talk to me. Am I being selfish keeping money that was legally left to me? Our fifth story takes us to a challenging family situation involving expectations around Mother's Day. I have 3 kids and they are all married. This post is about my son and his wife, Jenny. Jenny struggles with infertility and she has no children. My other son has a wife who is expecting next month, and my daughter has recently had her own kid. Everyone was busy for Mother's Day and they couldn't meet up with me for the holiday. That's fine. They are starting their own families. I thought it would be nice to send my expecting daughter-in-law and my daughter a Mother's Day basket. So Jenny always made comments that her 2 dogs are the first grandkids. I always thought it was a joke. She is big on being a dog mom. My daughter posted a picture in the group chat of everything she got for Mother's Day and included the basket. My other daughter-in-law also thanked me for her basket in the chat. Jenny called me soon after and asked where her basket was. I was confused and asked what she meant. I thought she was pregnant and she was just telling me now. She clarified since I have 2 grandkids by her already and said her dogs' names. I was even more confused at this, and she clarified that she is her dog's mother and should have gotten a basket. I told her she is not a mother. Mother's Day is for women that raise human children and not pet owners. She got really upset and cursed me out for not getting her a basket and that she is a parent. My son is telling me to apologize and to send a Mother's Day basket over. He is calling me a jerk for not sending her a basket and telling her she is a pet owner. Our 6th and final story tonight involves international travel and managing different fitness levels within a family group. I recently went to China with my sister, her husband Doug, their son who is 12, my wife, and our two kids who are 11 and 9. My sister and I were born in China, but our family immigrated to Dallas when we were young. She stayed there, got married, and had her son, while I settled in the Pacific Northwest with my wife and two kids. Growing up, our parents emphasized healthy eating and staying active. My sister and I still live that way and pass it to our kids. Doug, however, is American in every sense of that word. He grew up on ultra-processed foods, and he'll insist on starting up his Grand Wagoneer for any distance more than 3 blocks. He's not immobile, but definitely not built for long treks. Their son just finished 7th grade and loved the ancient China unit, especially the terracotta warriors. My sister thought this the perfect time for him, being half Chinese, to visit his ancestral homeland. I was already planning a trip to Chongqing to see family, so we added my sister's family to the itinerary and expanded it to include places like Beijing, Xi'an, and Nanjing to match what their son had learned in school. I handled most of the planning and tried to hint that a lot of walking would be involved, especially since many Chinese cities have vast transit systems and are less car-dependent. Doug didn't take it seriously. Once we arrived, it was clear he couldn't keep up when we explored the landmarks. My sister often stayed behind with him, while my wife and I continued with the kids to ensure we kept up with our tour groups. It all came to a head in our final stop, my grandmother's hometown near Chongqing. This place is basically vertical, stairs and steep slopes everywhere. On a particularly hot, humid day, I took the kids to the local market via a park our old family helped build. Doug insisted on coming, saying he didn't want to sit around all day. I warned it was a long walk, but he insisted. Half a mile in, he was struggling. I slowed down, but the kids kept running ahead. After we got through the park, I convinced him to take a taxi back while I continued to the market with the kids. When we returned, Doug was sulking and my sister was upset. She said I was inconsiderate for not just taking a taxi to the market. I explained that would have taken longer given the layout, and the kids wouldn't have seen the park that was part of our family history. She said she hadn't realized how physically demanding the trip would be since she let me handle most of the planning and I didn't consider Doug's limits. I agree I could have been more considerate of Doug's fitness level, but not at the expense of my nephew and kids experiencing their cultural landmarks, especially since it was my nephew's first time in his homeland and my kids' first time in Xi'an and Beijing. They all said had an amazing and educational experience. That's all for tonight's collection of stories. 6 different situations that showcase family dynamics, personal boundaries, and the complexity of balancing individual needs with family expectations. From vacation accommodations to cooking responsibilities, daily treats, inheritance decisions, holiday traditions, and travel planning. These scenarios remind us that family relationships require constant negotiation and understanding. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next video.